Hey, what's up, YouTubers, day traders, and market participants? Your boy is back with another episode. And when there is a will, there is a way, guys. We had a bounce Monday after a free fall Friday. What does that signify? It's a few things. If you were courageous enough to buy the dip on Friday, you got rewarded for it on Monday. However, it could be short-lived. This could be a dead cat bounce, and that's what I kind of want to talk about in this video. But overall, the market is still healthy. And just because certain plays need to cool off doesn't mean that other plays are getting ready to ramp up. So, without further ado, let's get into the charts. All right, we do this all the time, and let's go ahead and jump straight into the SPY. So, as you can see here, we have this pretty strong red candle, right? And if we were to kind of, and I like to cut it in threes, right? If we were to kind of hang down here, I would see immediate follow through, but we didn't. We actually got to the middle portion of the candle. So that could mean that we only get a double bottom. The probability is high that the rest of the move, since it went to the 50 mark, 50% mark, the rest of the move is that we kind of get a double bottom, which creates that W type of pattern. That is the highest probability I see now. The better probability for a real continuation would have been if it stayed down here in the bottom third of this move. What is that? That is a bear flag, which usually goes to another super significant low. Since we did bounce halfway into this bar, the odds now are more of in favor of it being a double bottom. That's kind of what I see for the bounce. But if we just continue to keep selling, then like two little small candles, then it could also, it doesn't mean it still won't give you that double bottom, but um, definitely be on caution. This was a pretty significant bounce back. It really was. So we'll see if that was the end of all of this noise, or he just decides to tweet something else again, or we actually get some. I believe banks are reporting this week, so maybe the banks take us down some more, and or even we get this gap down and then we just go straight back up. So kind of a tough call here. The weekly, as of right now, we kind of got to be bearish just because of this last week. This last week came in very strong, decent volume, right? Engulfing a bunch of candles to the left of it. So that was overall the week standpoint, right? So if we're trading off the week, we got to wait a few days before we make a decision on the daily chart. It still doesn't look as good. We'll see. It basically respected this moving average, the fact that we gapped above it, and then the purple is basically the moving average now that is acting as resistance, because you can see once we touched it, we actually rejected from that price. So we'll see if that period, the purple period moving average becomes a wall of resistance. So I didn't really buy too much today. I really hated that we had this gap up. I was looking for a gap down and then from there to play it. Um, so what I liked today was IBIT. And the reason why I bought IBIT is because it was the only out of the few things that were down today. IBIT was still down today on the day. It opened up even lower. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take my shot here on IBIT. Why? Because you can kind of see that we got this line here. We broke it here for a second, but then that was just a great buying opportunity. But we've been respecting this period moving average right here, and we kind of came down to it, and I'm kind of seeing it as a buy opportunity. This is your 100-day period moving average. So I love that. We came down into it, got strength, came down, got some liquidity grab, pushed up. Now we're back down into it, and we could get this double top at 70. one before we see some signs of reversal. But if we were to go off of the weekly chart, last week was horrendous with an all-time new high that led into a rejection candle on high volume. So still not liking all the long terms out there, but if I were to take a shot at one of them just because it didn't gap up, it was IBIT. So I don't believe Bitcoin is done. So, October and November is usually Bitcoin's best month out of the year. So kind of waiting until November kind of hits, and this is where this play might really pay off is in November. So decided to get my hands into the cookie jar here, right? So another one that I mentioned too in yesterday's video was CRM. I like CRM basically for the long-term outlook that you're hitting this basically big area of support, resistance, now support, this 232 area is very big of support. And I really liked basically what happened today that we got a nice, good green action candle from the moving averages, from two of the moving averages starting off and pushed up pretty high and kind of engulfed the last red candle on the day. So I like to see that. On the weekly chart, we want to try to stay and hold this blue line. You can kind of see ever since, and let me zoom in just a little bit more, about right there, you can see that we've been having trouble with the blue line the entire time. We broke it here, right? We stayed above it for just a quick second, but then we got that pushed down. Then we break the blue line again here. We get pushed down. We come up, we break it again. We get pushed down, couldn't get above it, couldn't get above it. You see what's happening? It's respecting this 8 period moving average. So this is on the weekly. So as of Monday, we are above it. Will we hold above it, or will it turn out to be like these last few weeks where you get above it, then you wick it, right? So we want to see. So this one is playing out good for a Monday. But since we're playing off the weekly chart, I want to wait and hopefully by Friday we are at these same prices or even higher. That will let me know that we have claimed the 8 period moving average and on to the purple moving average for some extra clarification on if CRM is going to go up, right? A few of the other ones I mentioned, Pfizer still getting knocked down, but it's holding this white moving average here. So hopefully this is where we get a little green action start coming into play into Pfizer hopefully in the next few days. So I'm still watching Pfizer. Same ordeal with PayPal. I haven't given up on PayPal. This is a very, very nasty drop though. Absolutely nasty. Um, it's basically it's just so bad. But I do like that we are basically in this area of support, which is basically 67 to 68. A lot of area of support here. So I took a stab at it here. We'll see. I really do want to wait for some green to come into play to show me that momentum has come back. But I do like it overall for the story that it's holding because it's been beaten down for so long. As you can see on the weekly, we're down to levels it hasn't been down to in a long time. So um, you know, hopefully we start seeing this come up. It used to be a $300 stock, guys. So even if it just recovers to 150 by half of next year, that's a great long-term play. 100% if you do, or even if you get up to this $100 mark by Christmas, right? That's even possible as well. So we'll see what PayPal can do here in the next coming weeks. Lastly, like I was saying in the last video, is the Honeywell International. Um, I would give this some time as well because we did have some nasty red candles here, but those could have been basically exhaustion candles, which means it's kind of more of the end of the move as opposed to the beginning of the move. Because the move basically started here. You can just see a lot of red coming in with a lot of volume, and then they basically just took it down, basically averaged in here, basically kept holding, and then finally got their pushes into the lows, which very, very normal. And this could be it is a gap fill as well. So it looks like we're getting a gap fill that we actually had back in uh, April. It just kind of gapped up and never came back. So we just filled that gap actually. So I like where Honeywell is, and especially since we're holding the white moving average here, the thicker one, which is your 200. Very, very important on the weekly for our long-term investors slash speculators and swing traders, right? So I do like this. I got some leaps here. We'll see what we can do. Hopefully, it acts as a great area of support and we just get these bounces up as we've seen. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Remember, I am not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence before you buy, sell, or hold anything. I am not telling you what to do. This is what I'm doing with my own money, right? So, I did want to get all of the favorite stocks like SoFi, AMD, Palantir, you name it, right? I was ready for it, but we did not get that continuation gap down that I was expecting. I think a lot of people maybe were thinking that, but those courageous souls that bought the dip on Friday, uh, you guys got it today. So I hope you guys took great advantage of that and be careful and put your stops tight because I don't think the downtrend is over just yet. But remember, treat each stock individually as important as it should and not treat it basically at the overall market, right? So, that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.